So while I think that this was an awesome press conference and everything that went down was super intriguing and super cool, let us not forget that this was definitely not the plan when they did that god-awful segment on SmackDown. We will not rewrite history like that. That segment was terrible and still not justified as to why Cody said he wasn't facing him at WrestleMania. But have they salvaged it with this? Maybe. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about the WrestleMania press conference and the fact that it has seemingly been made official that it will be Cody Rhodes taking on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 and all the shenanigans that went down. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts on the press conference down below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of them as we dive into this. So, the press conference itself was a big stage for an angle, pretty much. This wasn't like a press conference. This was an angle to set up a thing. In this entire thing, we had The Rock coming out and, presenting the Anoa'i family tree and the legacy of that Samoan dynasty. We had Roman Reigns come out. We had Cody come out, say it's bullshit. Seth Rollins was there. Triple H was there. And then The Rock took sort of centre stage after Cody delivered these lines about the Samoan family, the Anoa'i family, and how the grandfathers of The Rock and Roman would be ashamed of how they are presenting themselves as head of the table, and gave a killer line. You guys are saying you're the head of the table, but you ain't doing any cooking. That was a great line. And The Rock gets in the face of Cody and says, you're offending his bloodline, therefore you're offending my bloodline. And he slaps the piss out of Cody Rhodes. Seth Rollins jumps in and goes to defend Cody, and then there's sort of this pull apart brawl kind of thing. They all get pulled apart, and then we get a backstage segment with Triple H where he's given an interview backstage, and The Rock and Roman walk together, and The Rock just unloads swear words against Triple H and talking down Cody. And those are sort of the main talking points from this. What do we take away from this? Cody made his choice. He said, I will face you, Roman Reigns, at WrestleMania. We have a graphic for that. It seems official, like that is where we are going. What does this mean for The Rock? Interesting, because The Rock seemingly has turned full heel, full Hollywood Rock. This seems to me like The Rock is leaning in to him being a heel and him, taking Cody's spot. I think that's the right move. I think we all can all agree that The Rock is better as a heel. The Rock has always, to me, been better as a heel, and I can't wait to see where they go from here. And what does this mean for WrestleMania? Now, there's a few different avenues that they could take with this. Obviously, we got the match graphic for Cody versus Roman. That match seems like a given. Could we get a tag match between The Rock and Roman taking on Cody and Seth? That's a distinct possibility. Could we get The Rock versus Cody, maybe Elimination Chamber? Potentially. Could we get, and I think this is my ideal way for this, I didn't think about this. I think in all the ways we've booked Cody versus Roman with The Rock in there, this never really crossed my mind until I saw them both walking together out. What if we get Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania, but The Rock is in Roman's corner? I think we've all fantasy booked either Rock being in Cody's corner or being the special guest referee. But what if he's representing the bloodline with Cody and adds that level of adversity to the match? I think that'd be quite interesting, having The Rock torn and maybe something happens in the match that makes The Rock switch and say, no, I'm not doing this, and he walks out, and that gives Cody the edge to beat Roman. I think that's incredibly interesting to play with that idea of Rock joining the bloodline, and you could sort of do a head of the table story where Roman Reigns feels like the Jey Uso to the Rock's Roman Reigns, where it's sort of this usurpation, I think that's a word, of the Rock taking that, tribal chief mantle, but not in a match, just sort of asserting his dominance, like he sort of asserted his dominance by taking Cody's spot. He is the Rock, he is the head of the table, and he's sort of slotted in there, and Roman having this insecurity of, maybe I'm not like the head of the table that I think I am. Sure, I've got the belt, but if the Rock can just come in and do all this stuff, who am I really? That could really add for a crisis of confidence with Roman, and there's your new saga of the bloodline. I think that's the most interesting way to go in sort of playing up the dynamics. I do like the idea of a tag match. The idea that I'm least sold on is the triple threat. I don't really want that. I think this sort of is all built to Cody one-on-one with Roman, and I don't like the idea of The Rock being in there as well, other than as, like I said, a special enforcer. I don't like him being an extra part in the match. There's always a fatal four-way, adding Seth Rollins in there, because he's sort of become a part of this story. There are so many avenues now that can be taken, and I think they might have salvaged it. Like I said in the intro to this, I think this does not excuse the piss-poor booking that they did on that episode of SmackDown, where they did not justify Cody in the slightest, where they made Cody look like a total loser. So I think they've salvaged it in some regard. I'm intrigued, very intrigued to see where we go from here. And yeah, I think we can be excited about this story again. Hashtag We Want Cody may have worked, because I do not believe that this was the plan the whole time. They would not have The Rock come out and do what they did on SmackDown. It was not the plan the entire time. So yeah, Cody versus Roman is confirmed. How does The Rock fit into this? My pick would be as Roman's special enforcer. I think that's the most interesting choice. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you excited about this? Let me know everything you want down below, and I'll try and apply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.